Howdy Texans, I'm Laura Ryland.
And I'm Josh Harville.
Welcome to the first JTAC Recap of the semester. We begin our broadcast with some tragic news. With Michael McLaren, a Tarleton State University freshman, died Sunday, the 26th, in a vehicle collision outside of De Leon. The collision occurred around 2:15 a.m. on County Road 435, approximately 4 miles outside of De Leon, according to the Stephenville Empire Tribune. It is suspected that alcohol was a factor in the incident.
It's always a sad day when we lose a Texan.
Very true.
In other news, the Board of Regents authorized Tarleton to execute a lease and management agreement for a new privately owned residence hall on the corner of Lillian and Fry, providing more housing for our growing student body. The Board of Regents have also authorized Tarleton to name the Science Building after former Professor of Biological Sciences and Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Lamar Johansson. Johansson dedicated 40 years of service to the university. A formal dedication ceremony will be held in the coming months when the facility will officially become the Lamar Johansson Science Building. We'll continue to keep you updated on these matters as they develop. What do you think?
In related news, SGA Vice President Alyssa Lowe announced the official name of the new residence hall on the corner of Jones and Lillian Street. It will be called Heritage Hall. The SGA is trying to implement some changes on campus, including increasing the number of bike racks on campus and designated smoking areas away from doors of buildings.
Hopefully those changes will lead to a healthier campus. Now we'll check in with field reporter David Rutledge on the faculty art exhibit in the gallery of the Clyde H. Wells Fine Arts Center, where he spoke with two professors about the exhibit.
Why is it that y'all do a gallery with all the faculty, and what does it do for the student body in the Fine Arts Center?
Well, we do a faculty show about every 2-3 years. And I think it's important just for the students to see what the faculty are up to, because when we're not grading papers or having class, we're practicing artists who do their own work, and we do our own research, and we apply to shows nationally, and so it's just good for the students to see what we're up to in our studios. I think there's a group of us that are working with computers and digital and electronic media, and there's a good group of us that are still working. I don't want to say still. There's a good group of us that are working, with traditional media, and I think the show has a nice variation of many different approaches to making art.
Why did you choose these pieces for the faculty art show?
Good question. The drawing is from my thesis exhibit when I was in graduate school, so I drug that one out of the attic. The watercolor was one that I did as just a plain watercolor that I was pleased with, and the one over here is really an attempt to combine what I'm saying in my drawings with the watercolor process. So I thought the three showed very well together, and they show kind of who I am. And all three works are actually about life and death. And so they have that element of a life. Well, the horizons here is very cyclical, because the skull, of course, is an image of death, and the flowers in it is an homage to Georgia O'Keeffe, who was someone I always enjoyed. And then the herd are mama cows with their spring babies, and so it's all about that cycle, that when something's lost, something's born, and vice versa. When something's born, something else is lost, and that's kind of the way these are. The buzzards are in a top of an old dead tree, and I call it anticipation. But if you look at that sky, it's a sunset sky, but I painted it more like a rise sky, a morning sky, and so you're contrasting the two elements.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
My thesis was in the graphite, the pencil drawings, and it's missing the color. It has a complexity that, for example, the buzzards are lacking this complexity, but it lacks the color. So I go back and forth between the two depending on my mood.
Amazing work. We're lucky to have such talented professors training Tarleton's next generation of artists. Now we go to Hillary Foreman with our sports update. Hillary?
Thanks, Laura. Last weekend, the Tarleton State University Texan basketball team defeated Eastern New Mexico University 86-64 and retained their number 4 national ranking. David Carter was named the Lone Star Conference Defensive Player of the Week. The number 17 Texans also defeated Eastern New Mexico University 89-71. Kiera Wright was named Lone Star Conference's Offensive Player of the Week. The Texan track and field team debuted at Texas Tech on January 20th and 21st, and Allie Coughlin was named the Lone Star Conference Track Player of the Week, and Danielle Dillard was named the Lone Star Conference Field Player of the Week. Coming up this week, we have the Texan baseball season, which starts on February 3rd against Winona State and February 4th against Arkansas Tech in Houston, Texas at Minute Maid Park. The Texan softball season also starts with a matchup against Wichita Baptist University and the Henderson State Wichita Baptist Classic in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. The Texan tennis season resumes on February 1st against the University of Texas at Permian Basin in Abilene, Texas. On Saturday, February 1st, the Texans take on Texas A&M Commerce at 7 p.m. in Wisdom Gym, and the Texans take on Texas A&M Commerce at 5 p.m. in Wisdom Gym, and Sunday, February 2nd against Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas at 2 p.m. And now back to Josh Harville with upcoming events.
Thanks, Hillary. On Monday, there will be an international coffee break from 3:30 to 4 p.m. on the second floor of the Thompson Student Center, and Inter-Greek Council recruitment will be held from 6 to 9 in the Student Center. Tuesday, the Department of Fine Arts will present a series of student recitals from 4 to 5 p.m. in the Fine Arts Center, and admission is free. Next Friday, the Ultra Club will be holding their big band dance at 8 p.m. in the ballrooms at the Student Center. So go in and get your swing on.
And that's it for this week's JTAC Recap. Don't forget to visit us on the web at jtacnews.com for your most up-to-date news. Pick up your next print edition February 10th. And follow us on Twitter at JTAC News.
Like us on Facebook.
And listen to us on the JTAC Voice with Landon Poole on KTRL 90.5 at 8:30 a.m.
See you next week, Tarleton, and keep your guns up, Texans.